Now, welcome back everybody to part 3 of the Daniel Larson documentary, and before we get into the whole part of actually explaining what happened in the period of Daniel's life, I'm going to take a minute to discuss a few things. Now, the first thing I want to discuss is the fact that we've actually got the real Daniel Larson's attention, and that's not something I'm bragging about entirely. I'm just simply here to tell him that Grace VanderWaal has never contacted you, Daniel. If you do believe that Grace VanderWaal has contacted you, you are wrong. You're being delusional. You need to wake up and you need to see the fact that she has never contacted you, nor will she probably never. Daniel, I know you've been manipulated. I know you've been maliciously told to do things in a terrible manner that no one should have ever done or told you to do things like that ever. But you need to understand that you're in a terrible position and she has never contacted you. Now, moving on. Now I'm just going to discuss a few laid-back kind of topics that I noticed and just discuss them, get them out of the way, and then we're going to shortly get into the documentary in a minute. But the first thing I want to discuss is the fact that I saw these comments and they were saying, how many more parts are you going to make? How much more series is this going to be? And honestly, I couldn't tell you that right now, but what I can tell you is that I'm trying to be a lot more in-depth with them, and we're only in the year of 2021 for Daniel right now, and we still have a whole another year to do, so probably think or rely on at least 3 to 4 more parts, maybe even more possibly, I don't know. Now, this is the last thing I want to say to you guys, but I just want to thank you guys once again. Each part is roughly getting to or is already at 1,000 views, and it's really cool to see that everybody's coming together watching this, and I've only gotten positive feedback for it entirely here, so really just thank you guys and hope you guys keep watching. Now let's get right into the video. On October 25th of 2021, Daniel makes a video saying that he is now kicked out of his house and he would no longer be staying with his care provider. Shortly after this, we'll be finding out that that is simply not true, but what Daniel says he's kicked out for is kind of odd. Daniel in the video says that he has more criminal charges on him now and that he was recently kicked out of his house for the criminal charges that was set and bestowed upon him, but that's really not true. He wasn't really kicked out at all, and now Daniel's deciding to walk to Blackhawk. Now, I don't know if I've entirely just cleared this up or not, but Daniel Larson lives in the state of Colorado. He lives in Denver, Colorado to be exact, and what happens there is it gets really cold during the winter and fall season. It's terrible. It's extremely cold, always snowing. Now, this takes place in October, meaning it's going to be cold no matter what. Now, as you see on the screen, it shows how long it would take to walk from Denver to Blackhawk and Blackhawk to Denver. It's like a really long fucking walk, and to make a completely roundabout trip, it'll take you exactly a whole day while walking without any breaks nor any sleep whatsoever. Now, it is extremely impressive that Daniel was able to walk for a 12-hour time period just to get somewhere, and it probably took him even longer than 12 hours given Daniel, and I know how he is, so it probably took him much longer. But, here's the clips.
So I found out I just got new criminal charges on me from my disability care provider. They are kicking me out of the house, and I am now basically homeless because of the situation as far as just everything goes with the media currently. They don't want to be a part in it, and so they've currently banned me from the house, and I am currently homeless.
Now finally, once Daniel does arrive in Blackhawk, after around 12 to 16 hours of walking, Daniel goes into the casino and starts talking about the casino, showing pictures of the casino, and then he starts to do modeling poses in the casino while also getting drunk and playing slots. Now, as to why his go-to motive was to walk to Blackhawk just to go to a casino and then have to go back 5 days later is beyond me, but here's the clips.
Every day's a red brick of mass confusion.
Are you recording? Are you recording?
Big motherfucking bank records. They try to make me a masturbator. They sit on their Discord all day.
Yeah, I'm praying for change. Yeah, I'm praying for change. Easy on the track, let's get it. I'm in.
Now, on October 29th, Daniel decides that he's going to head back to Denver and go back to the house that he was supposedly kicked out of when he really wasn't kicked out of it. I don't really understand the whole point of going that way, but he also explains in the video that he's going to be taking the route that's faster over the mountain instead of going around the mountain, which seems extremely dumb and unsafe. Keep in mind that Daniel is walking at least 11 hours and 9 minutes, and then that's only if he's not taking any breaks at all, but if he is taking breaks whatsoever, it's going to take him even longer than that. So just the fact, I'm assuming it took him probably around 14 to 15 hours to walk that entire area from start to finish. But here's the clips. Roll it.
So this is on my way home from the casino. I'm trying a different route. Instead of it going around the mountain, It basically goes up and over the mountain. The only situation is it's really long and it's got a bunch of hills this way. But it should be faster for the most part.
In early November, or November 2nd, Daniel Larson makes a series of videos claiming that he is not only under attack, but threatened to be kidnapped by two people, and those two people are two men by the name of Goldberg, Shackelstein, and Tony Soprano. Now, if you've watched the show The Sopranos, or Sopranos, however you want to say it, you know that that's the main character in this our leading acting show. It's based on like the mafia. He's not a genuine, real person. Now, the people who are his managers apparently are, I think, also playing as aliases under these names, saying that they're going to do these things to Daniel and kidnap him, like declaring war on Daniel, making Daniel say these outrageous things, talking about how he's the leader of the Jews and stuff like that along the lines, and how Daniel's now going to be at war and be kidnapped by the New York Mafia. But here's the clips.
Goldberg Shackelstein has paired up, collaborated with the New York Mafia, with Tony, to try to kidnap me. Please stop. We are not afraid. I have been threatened to be kidnapped by the Jews and the Mafia currently. I am not afraid. Please stop. Goldberg Shackelstein and Tony Soprano has threatened to kidnap me and take me to 1225 North Gold Street, Owasso, Michigan.
Now, exactly 2 days after Daniel going to war with Tony Soprano and whatever the last guy, Goldberg, Shittlestick, I don't know, I can't remember, I'm sorry. But 2 days after this, Daniel posts a series of videos going to war now with JoJo Siwa, berating her name, calling her a slut, calling her many things I'm going to show you in a second. But in the very first video that I will show you here, it's so obvious that Daniel's reading off a script in this one video, it's actually fucking insane. Everything he's saying, he's reading off of a script. But in the later videos that I am going to show you, it's obvious that Daniel's either 1A, rehearsed and knows like everything he's saying, like he rehearsed it, or 2, he's just freelanding it and he's just saying exactly how he feels about JoJo Siwa. You come to find out later on in the lore that Daniel and JoJo Siwa don't mix very well together, and Daniel dislikes JoJo Siwa. Play the clip.
JoJo Siwa needs to stay in her own lane and close her whore legs. Maybe then she will actually be respected instead of a sellout. She has a child's body, and it's pathetic. I sat next to JoJo Siwa on the bus, and she had her legs spread, and I noticed a fishy odor. Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting. It was so bad. Like, oh Lord. Yeah, I could just remember it. It was just so flippin' bad. JoJo Siwa is easy, and that's why she got on Dancing with the Stars. Maybe she should close her legs, and maybe she'll get more friends.
So, in this arc, Daniel Larson comes home really late at night, and his care provider, Jonas, at the time, is extremely angry with him, threatens to call the cops and the police, especially since Daniel comes home, acts like he's threatened, plays the victim card per usual. It's a very Daniel thing to do. So Daniel gets home and he starts recording Jonas saying it's for his safety and that he'll send it to his lawyers, and obviously Jonas is going to be very angry with this, knowing that he probably doesn't want to be put on TikTok of Daniel Larson's to be fucking clowned on by a bunch of 8-year-old children in the comment section. But Jonas says, next time you're late, I'm not going to let you in the fucking house. Daniel freaks out about it. Jonas threatens to call the FBI and the police, and then shortly after he sees that Daniel's recording, he gets so fed up to the point where he just wants to be left alone. It's very obvious that he wants to be left alone because the only person that's talking for the next minute and 30 seconds after that happens is Daniel. Daniel makes it a point to be heard and when he's talking and Jonas isn't responding, he makes it a very clear point to be heard, and then even when Jonas is in a completely different room, he goes out of his way to antagonize him, and it's very obvious that Jonas is just so fed up for it. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons why he has a right to be mad that Daniel wasn't home at the right time, especially for one, he's his care provider and is responsible for Daniel's well-being. Now, I do get exactly why Jonas is mad, and I do really feel bad for the guy, especially having to deal with someone like Daniel Larson all the fucking time. I'm glad that he doesn't have to deal with that anymore, but here's the clips. Roll it.
Jonas basically threatened me and said that next time I'm home late, he won't let me in. I'm not putting
We'll call cops now and we'll call the FBI on you.
This is evidence for my lawyer. Don't threaten me, Jonas. Whatever you do, do not threaten me. I'm not scared of you. Just because I'm recording you for the lawyer because you threatened me. Like I just said, I'm not going to put this on the media. I'm not that type of person. You are a liar. Like I'm not doing anything to harm you. I'm not doing anything. And you need to realize that. This is fucking bullshit. Like, all I did was come home. I will make a deal with you. I will put this camera down, and I will delete this video on one behalf. You do not call the police on me, because I didn't do anything. I'm only doing this because I don't trust you, and I'm giving it to the lawyer. You think that I'm just useless, and I'm a piece of trash. He thinks he's so tough.
Now, this arc happens around November 20th, and this arc really isn't based around Daniel whatsoever. Actually, this is a complete guest appearance. So, something I failed to mention to you guys at the start because it really wasn't important until now was this. There were two people that were mentally ill living in this house at the same time, with a care provider by the name of Jonas and Jonas's wife, I'm presuming. So, the two people in this house that had mental illnesses that Jonas was supposed to be looking after were the names of Daniel Larson and Gavin. Gavin's the only name we ever got from him, and I hope he's doing okay now because we haven't seen anything from him since. Now, Gavin's a much bigger guy than Daniel, and he doesn't seem to have as much mental stability as Daniel, and that's saying something. Now, Daniel's mental stability is already very bad, but Gavin's was so bad to the point where he would have meltdowns and not only threaten and scare the other people in the house, but he would even threaten to do stuff to himself. Now, in this arc, the reason that Gavin is having this meltdown, we're going to probably see even more along the way, but the reason Gavin is having this meltdown is he was on the phone with Jonas about his biological mother, and whenever Daniel and Jonas were sitting in there, Daniel overheard them talking, and Gavin and Jonas were talking about Gavin's biological mother, and when Gavin was asking some questions trying to speak to his mother, Jonas just hung up the phone because he wasn't dealing with Gavin right now. After Jonas hangs up on Gavin, Gavin goes out of his way and he has this complete fucking meltdown. He's screaming all over the place. Even the mother in the house, or Jonas's wife, is trying to calm Gavin down, but it's not working because Gavin's just not listening. He's in a fit of rage. But in the first clip that I am going to show you as soon as I stop talking here is not the meltdown that I was just talking about. This first meltdown takes place whenever the power goes out where they're living and Gavin's just freaking out about the power because his dad is not working or anything like that. He's just freaking out, but here's the clip, so roll it.
Where is the power? I'm really upset because there's no power here. That means no Wi-Fi or anything, and LTE doesn't sound good. We're the only one either. I got it. I know. I noticed that. Do we even know, like, what's going on? Look at that! You don't believe me? I got it, you don't believe me?
Did I ask you to calm down or not?
Try to call him. Just freaking out.
Okay, do you recognize that other people?
Look at this.
Listen to me.
I know. Listen. Come here, Blake. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm freaking out.
freaking out will not solve the problem, but calming down and listening to me will solve your problem.
Okay, what's the number
Do
for?
you recognize?
Now she's trying to do something. But it actually took a little bit. And even with that, you know, he's still basically getting his situation not being talked about as far as like the neglect, because that's the real reason why he's upset, is because basically Jonah's hung up and this provider is not trained at all for this.
All of that, if you want me to help you. Stop all of that. Just get back to your normal self.
No, I can't handle the pressure. I'm just so I can't take it anymore.
You don't stop that.
I'm leaving. I'm sorry, alright?
You have no reason to do it.
You don't leave me. You want me to love you guys a little worse? No!
Hold on. You want to threaten me by calling your mom?
No!
Do you think I care?
No.
I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but just because the client is trying to call his mother to actually try to get this situation heard because of the neglect, the other provider says that that's a threat. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but I just heard it.
So long, asshole! Fucking asshole! Shut up! Or I'll murder you! Fucking murder you!
Time to switch up the vibe and the mood back to a more relaxed topic, since this is the next thing that happens shortly after what I just showed you, but it's called the mac and cheese incident. It's actually kind of funny. Now, it's not necessarily funny, especially if what Daniel is saying is true and that they're purposely fucking with his food so that he won't eat it and it's disgusting. That's not going to be funny at all, but if it's not the case and Daniel's just overreacting, like how he switches back and forth between the taste and stuff, he's not really backing up any of his statements with other statements he makes. So in this arc, it's called the mac and cheese incidents, and it's where Daniel's only eating mac and cheese, and when it's showing the mac and cheese he's eating, he's like panning the camera really close to the food, showing off the like really tiny grains of just straight pepper that was added to his mac and cheese, which is just completely normal. But then even further on, after he sees that, he says it tastes like jalapenos and his mouth is just completely full of spice and now it's hard to breathe, and then he goes on to go to his refrigerator and he says that the reason it doesn't taste properly is because they don't have any milk. Although I don't really understand what not having milk would have to do with it if you just have like water. I mean, I know it helps with the texture and the consistency of it, but it's not really going to change the taste that much, especially since I know what it's like to have it with milk and without it. Upon further investigation of the forbidden mac and cheese, Daniel investigates and finds out that every little speck in the mac and cheese looks like honey mustard, and he starts to believe that it was boiled in honey mustard and that's why it has such a terrible taste compared to how it's usually supposed to taste. So in all, Daniel just kind of sits there and switches back and forth between whether or not it's spicy, tangy, sweet, disgusting, or good. He just kind of sits there and he makes it a point to show that he really dislikes the mac and cheese to everybody just to make it seem like it's the worst thing on the planet. Daniel even goes out of his way to make sure that people see him spit it out into the trash and the sink, and he makes sure that people see it get thrown away. After him opening up the fridge, it was so fucking barren and just kind of a weird like amount of stuff to have in there that I guess I get where the guy's coming from, but here's the clips. Roll it.
Cow piss. Literal fucking cow piss. I want to know who the fuck put jalapenos in this. Holy fuck, my mouth is on fire. I know why this tastes different. It's got something in it that's like sour as well. And if you look, it's got like little things in it. I don't know what it is. I've never seen that. Well, that makes a lot of sense. We don't have the fucking milk. So the asshole care provider didn't do the fucking milk. The only thing they could have done was water, but that's not the taste, but whatever. Like, I'm going to be straight up serious. Why does the mac and cheese taste a lot like ranch, but with like a tangy taste? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I want to see how much honey mustard they actually used. Most of it. You could see actually a little bit of a line how much has actually been used. And you can't hear anything when you shake it. Fuck. But guess what? It's starting to affect my family and my girlfriend, and I'm not going to put up with this. There. Fucking asshole. Put that all the way into the trash.